Good morning and a very warm welcome back to Ellon Academy. In particular, we welcome all pupils back, but our new first year pupils have so many changes to cope with, having come from primary 7 and up to the big school where things are very, very different from normal. Also a mention for our S5 and S6 pupils who've been through the last exam diet, which has been very, very different, as we all know. The first Deputy First Minister's announcement yesterday, we were working on what the recommendations will be to try and support all young people with their qualifications and also with subject choices. So first of all, arriving at school. Now you've all arrived here today safe and well, and many of you travel on buses and through different modes of transport to school. But it is essential that you sanitize your hands with your own hand sanitizer prior to leaving your house and when you get to school prior to you coming into the building. The school doors will be open at 8:10 a.m. and that will allow young people some time to sanitize their hands on arrival, and hand sanitizer stations will be available at the pupil entrances and the entrances for senior pupils that I will explain in a second. The breakfast club will also be open from 8:10 a.m. but you'll have plenty time to come in and sanitize your hands. The entry point for S1, 2 and 3 pupils is the pupil doors as usual, and that's when you arrive at school and if you leave at lunchtime, and if you arrive back after lunchtime, and when you leave at the end of the day. All 4th, 5th and 6th pupils are being asked to use the main community reception doors when you arrive and leave school, and that's to minimise congestion and larger groupings of young people. So all pupils, when they arrive, they go to their year group gathering areas. So S1 and S2, you will go to the canteen, which is very close to the pupil doors. S3 will make their way to the sunken social area. S4 to the street and a spillover into the community reception area. And S5 in your social area and the maths open learning area on the first floor. And S6, you have your social area, the humanities open learning area, and also rooms S54 and S55 for additional space for you. There will be 6 bells in the morning, and that's much more than usual, but the first bell will signify the signal for S1 to make their way to registration. And then a couple of minutes later, we'll have the second bell for S2 and the third bell for S3 and so on till the sixth bell for S6 to go to registration. And this is just another measure to minimise the crowd of young people moving in and around the school. If you want to go to the toilet, your teacher will keep a log of who has left the room and when you come back, and keep a note of those times. You must sanitize your hands before you go, wash your hands thoroughly for 20 seconds when you're done, and sanitize your hands as you return back into the class. And pupils will only be allowed to go to the toilet one at a time, so we can monitor the toilet areas to ensure that they're clean and safe for everyone. It's imperative that you follow all instructions given to you by any adult or senior pupil in the school, and that will be for the sole reason of maintaining health and well-being for everyone concerned. If you yourself as a young person feel unwell, please tell your teacher, and procedures are in place to deal with young people who do not feel well in class or in the corridors or at breaks or at lunchtimes. Please tell a member of staff. Social and physical distancing is something that we're getting used to in the community and something that again is imperative in school. All pupils and staff should avoid touching their faces or having physical contact with others. Pupils should not be crowding in big groups, hugging or greeting others in physical ways. For example, you shouldn't be doing high fives and things like that. That's just inviting the spread of infection. Pupils should stay at least 2 meters away from all adults in school, and the classrooms have teacher zones marked out with black and yellow tape on the floor to show you very clearly where the teacher will be and where you will be. Pupils must stay in their year group gathering areas on 3 points, particularly during the day, and that's prior to registration, during break time, and during lunch times. We will allow young people to go out of the school into the plaza at break and lunch times, and we prefer that you do that, but your group gathering areas will be there for you if you prefer to stay indoors or the weather doesn't permit us to use outside. If you go into the town of Ellon at lunchtime, you must strictly adhere to safety measures that are in place in shops and cafes and other establishments. That is very, very important because there is a risk of you going into the community and transmitting infection and bringing it back into school. We also encourage pupils to go outside at break and lunch, weather permitting, to get some fresh air because current studies have shown that the virus is less likely to spread outdoors and in outdoor environments. Incidentally, all windows and doors in school will be open to allow good ventilation, and the school ventilation systems have been reconfigured so that it's only fresh air coming through the school ventilation systems and not recycled air. So that's been a really important move forward in terms of air quality. Break time will be as usual at 10:15 on a daily basis, but to minimise queuing and gatherings of large groups of pupils, there's no catering services at break times for the moment. Pupils should bring their own snack and drink, and we advise that you bring a refillable water bottle, and all our water stations and our water drinking fountains are operational and in good working order to provide fresh and cool water to fill your bottles. You shouldn't be drinking out of these fountains, but you can fill your bottles, and these will be cleaned because they're touch points at 3 times during the day. All pupils should eat their snack outside or stay in the designated year group gathering areas inside, and I've told you where they are, and they're on the screen there if you'd like to take a glance and a reminder of where your designated area is. At lunchtimes, again, we'll encourage you to use outdoor space, weather permitting, but for the moment and as a start, S5 and 6 pupils will be released 10 minutes early for lunch because they are very au fait with the systems and the queuing, and they'll be asked to get their food and take their food to their designated year group gathering areas on the first floor for 5th year and on the second floor for 6th year. There'll be 3 stations for young people to collect their lunches. So S1s and S2s in your gathering area, which is the canteen, S3s and S4s in the sunken social area, and for S5s and S6, you can collect your lunches in the street or in the main reception area. So you take your lunch outside, weather permitting, or straight to your designated area, and do not stray from that area. You stay in that area because your year group is your bubble. Cleaning and toilets. Again, hand hygiene and hand washing is important, and we encourage young people constantly to be doing this. And we encourage young people to bring their own sanitizer too, but there'll be plenty available in school. The cleaners are going to be in school 3 times a day, before school, midday and after school for cleaning purposes to make sure that all toilets and door handles, banisters, key touch points, railings are all cleaned thoroughly 3 times per day. So to make this happen efficiently, all pupils must dispose of their own litter so that this essential cleaning can take place. I can't stress enough how important that is. You really must do this. Your teachers will have a COVID kit in their classrooms and teaching areas, and we expect all pupils to participate in making sure that workspaces are sanitised for safety for everyone using them before you and after you. In terms of your learning, assessment will be ongoing of your learning because many of you are coming from different experiences of lockdown learning, and we need to support you to find your way back into the new routines of school and the new procedures and guidance that we have to follow. And things are changing on a daily basis sometimes, so these guidance and regulations will change too, and you will be fully informed of any changes and updates to our guidance to help support you find a new routine in coming to school in these circumstances. Again, to minimise the spread of infection and the marking of jotters, physical jotters and paper, homework tasks will be issued to you via your Google Classrooms for your different subjects. So that's really important that you log on and you engage and you sign up to all of your Google Classrooms, and teachers will support you with that. School uniform is expected, and the usual expectation of having your school clothes washed is just the same as of any time. We're waiting for S4 blue ties to arrive. They've been delayed because of the COVID situation, but as soon as they arrive, we will be distributing them in a safe manner to our S4 pupils. So you can come without your tie to begin with until you get it, or if you still have your junior tie and you haven't recycled it, you can certainly come with that on just for a few days until we get your blue ties issued to you. If you have PE, please come for the moment in your PE kit and potentially have a change of t-shirt if you have one in your bag, and you can quickly change that when you potentially go to the toilet. This particular guidance about not having changing room facilities will be reviewed, and I know that the head teachers of Aberdeenshire Council are looking at this very closely to see how quickly we can review some of that guidance. But for the moment, come in your PE kit if you've got PE on a specific day, and now that you have your timetables, you'll see that very clearly. At the end of the school day, all bus pupils will be released from their classes 10 minutes early, another measure to avoid crowding in the corridors. So S1, 2 and 3 bus pupils will leave via the pupil doors, and S4, 5 and 6 bus pupils will leave via the main reception doors. And when the end of the day bell rings, the rest of the pupils, juniors will go to the pupil doors to leave, and seniors will go to the reception main doors. It's important and vital that good conduct when travelling in public transport or in school transport is of great importance for the health and well-being of all of your peers round about you on these modes of transport, but also for the drivers who have a very important, responsible and safety conscious job to do in getting you here safely. But it's all the more exacerbated by the situation that we are in just now, that your conduct on school transport is exemplary. We do not expect young people to have to suffer the consequences of not complying with our current guidance, because we are a school that promotes positive relationships and we work together to find our way through issues and solving potential problems and solutions together with yourselves and with your parents and carers. Core values are at the heart of everything we do, and one of our values is integrity, which means doing the right thing when no one's looking, and we should all be choosing to do the right things just now to keep ourselves safe. It's vitally important. So non-compliance with our COVID-19 health and safety procedures will result in some action being taken. For minor incidents, this will involve potentially you being removed from class for that lesson, discussions with guidance and your DHT house and the principal teacher of that faculty. But if something more significant happens, I become involved and I will be sending you home. If you can't comply with the health and safety measures that we've put in place in order to keep you and everyone else safe, and also your families and extended families safe, then I can't have you in school, and you will be sent home. You won't be excluded, but you'll be sent home to work on online learning until you and your parents can convince me that it is safe to have you in school and it's safe for everybody to have you in school. Now, I don't expect to be having these conversations with any of you or any of your parents, but I will absolutely stick to my word and send you home if you can't comply with what we're saying. So that's a very serious note, but this whole situation is very serious, and we have to take this um, with a lot of gravitas, because many of you are young people, most of you are under the age of 16, but we're in an adult environment here where we've got to be grown up about what we do, and the consequences will be yours if you can't comply with that. And we don't want anybody out of school when we are open, but I'm willing to do that to guarantee the safety of others round about us.